Hello, YouTube, and welcome to Level-Headed News. This is your host, Brenda. I have 6 articles for you in this episode. In the description of the video for your convenience. The first one that I have here is off of dailymail.co.uk, and it says, "Business is booming. Bunkers soaring amid fears over increasing military tensions with Russia, North Korea, and Syria." Manufacturer in Murchison patrons customized shelters from $39,500 to $1 million. Of course, it decides it's going to jump here, so get it back up here where it belongs. My goodness gracious. There we go. People on all sides of the political spectrum have expressed interest amid escalating tensions between Russia, North Korea, and the United States. Up to 44 people are designed to last forever and can hold a year's worth of food per resident. The aristocrat bunker costs $8.4 million and comes with a bowling alley, movie theater, and a pool. Trump's recent military strike in Syria and escalating tensions between Russia, North Korea, and the United States have sparked fears that World War III could be just around the corner. So, Americans, a Texas bunker manufacturer, to keep up with orders of shelters. If I took 30 people and I worked 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, I still wouldn't be caught up right now, Clyde Scott of in Murchison, Texas, told CBS. There's these bunkers in here in this article, if you want to pull the article up to take a look at that. Scroll through them here. Well, hamster's taking a nap. Come on, hamster. Lots of pictures. There's video in it as well. Let's see here. It says, well, Scott said most of his buyers were in such a panic to buy shelter for their family they didn't even ask him about the cost and install it. And with relations between Trump and Putin growing, the current 3-month backlog is only likely to increase. "You should have got it 6 months ago," said Scott. "You shouldn't wait until the threat lit on the rocket." Rising S Company in Murchison, 75 miles southeast of Dallas, from 96 square foot abode for 2 to the aptly named Aristocrat, which can sleep 44 people and includes 10 individual master bedrooms. The homes are designated to last forever and are able to hold a year's worth of food per resident. There's more pictures. Employee Gary Lynch said that new orders come in daily for the bunkers, whose costs start at $39,500 and go as high as $8,350,000, or I'm sorry, $8,350,000 for the Aristocrat. There you go. That number can grow even higher as customers can add on unlimited features. Scott insists his bunkers aren't just for doomsday preppers and claims he has sold the subterranean shelters to famous athletes, Forbes CEOs, and people on both sides of the political aisle. "I've sold to billionaires and I've sold to average Joes," said Scott, adding that even your unassuming neighbor could have invested in a doomsday backup plan. The most basic bunker comes complete with toilet, shower, bunk bed, while the Aristocrat offers features including a sauna, swimming pool, game room with billiards, and a media room. It is outfitted in steel. Furnishings have rounded edges to decrease the chance of self-injury due to delayed access to emergency care. They are powered by solar energy. Pictures. And another section. It says Lynch said people are asking for comfort, anything that makes them feel like they're inside a home instead of a bunker. They typically want features like more cabinet space, secure doors, hidden rooms, exercise rooms, that the shelter itself is compromised, and escape tunnel can be added for $16,000. The old adage that it's better to be safe than sorry seems to be what's driving the company's customers, Lynch said. Everyone is a prepper fashion. You prepare for auto accidents with full coverage insurance instead of just liability. Homeowners' policies cover injury protection before it was mandated. Savings accounts. This is just another form of insurance. It is insurance that a safe place to be in the event that there is a social or economic collapse or a war. And there's some more pictures. And video. And it says, Lynch told the Star-Telegram, these are definitely not Cold War era shelters. For those who cannot afford one of their own, some customers, like Nora Holloway of Dallas, posted online asking if anyone wanted to go in with her on a bunker after she became concerned about to the bombings in Syria and Afghanistan and escalating threats in North Korea. I'm in no position to buy one, said Holloway. However, I think that for a lot of people, that is a serious concern. A lot of people have done so and will be doing so. It would prepare people for what could be very well may happen in the future. I also saw soaring numbers of orders after Trump's election. And those who voted for him are becoming concerned that their civil unrest could get out of hand in a Trump presidency. You got people that didn't vote for him that are thinking the same thing, that because he's president, maybe he's going to start a war, Lynch said in January. And there you have that. The next article that I have is off of TASS.com, and it says Russia's hypersonic Zircon anti-ship missile reaches 8 times the speed of sound. April the 15th. It says Russia's new hypersonic anti-ship Zircon missile has reached 8 times the speed of sound during the test, a source with Russia's defense sector told TASS. And that's TASS, in case you're interested. It says during the test of the missile, it was confirmed that the speed on the march reaches 8 Mach, number that takes into account the dependence of speed or sound on the altitude of flight, the sources said. He did not specify when and from which platform the missile was launched. The source noted that Zircon missiles can be launched from universal launching platforms, 3 C-14, which are also used for Onyx and Caliber missiles. TASS does not have an official confirmation of this information. Earlier, other sources in Russia defense industry told TASS that Zircon missiles will be tested this year. It is expected that the new missiles will be installed at the Heave nuclear-powered cruisers, Peter the Great and Admiral Nakhimov. Zircon's firing range, according to open data, is about 400 kilometers. The maximum.
Shinzo Abe has emphasized the importance of diplomatic efforts, even as the U.S., of course, indicates that military action is still on the table. But the trouble with Abe is he's certainly got a little bit of.
My goodness, his mouth's going 90 miles an hour. Now, back to where I was. Zircon's firing range, according to open data, is about 400 kilometers. The maximum speed of the missile is indicated in about 4 to 6 Mach. Hypersonic weapons are missiles and aircraft capable of reaching speeds of Mach 5 and more, or 5 times the speed of sound. They are extremely difficult to intercept due to their overwhelming speed and maneuvering capabilities. Hypersonic technology in general, used in weapon systems and prospective aircraft, were seen by experts as a game changer in future warfare. The next article that I have for you is off of the Star. It says, preparing for war, U.S. Air Force successfully test drops nuclear gravity bomb. It says, just a day after Donald Trump unleashed the mother of all bombs, the U.S. National Nuclear Security Administration announced the successful field test in Nevada. The device dropped was a modernized gravity nuclear bomb. And the U.S. Air Force completed the first qualification flight test of the B-61-12 gravity nuclear bomb at the Tonopah. It comes as war tensions reach boiling point in North Korea, with another nuclear test expected this weekend. And then there's some pictures of the test if you want to see those. The test was intended to evaluate the weapon's non-nuclear functions and the capability of the F-16 fighter to successfully deploy the bomb. An F-16 fighter from Nellis Air Force Base dropped the non-nuclear test assembly. The B-61-12 is a modernized version of the B-61 gravity bomb, the mainstay of the Air Force's nuclear arsenal. The test will ensure the future for bombers and dual capability aircraft supporting NATO. And there's some video if you want to see that. It says it comes at a time of heightened global tension over the situation in North Korea. Intelligence officials have revealed the U.S. has placed 2 devices capable of firing Tomahawk missiles into the Korean peninsula. American bombers have also been positioned in Guam, ready to strike if necessary. And the U.S. Carl Vinson has led a fleet of warships to the peninsula, along with Japanese allies. The next article that I have is off of Bloomberg. North Korea snubbed Chinese diplomats. North Korea snubbed senior Chinese diplomats this month as tensions mounted with the U.S., according to people familiar with the situation, raising questions about the influence Beijing leaders have over Kim Jong-un. Pyongyang didn't respond to requests from China Foreign Minister Wang Yi and Wu Dui, top envoy for North Korean nuclear affairs, to meet with their North Korean counterparts. According to the people who asked not to be identified because the discussions were private, the overtures came after Chinese President Xi Jinping met with his U.S. counterpart, the people said. Trump has sought to pressure Xi into taking stronger action to help stop Kim's regime from developing more advanced nuclear weapons and ballistic missiles. Relies on China for most of its food and fuel. Ties between the allies have been frosty under Xi. Since taking power in 2012, he hasn't met Kim face to face. It's unclear how often Chinese officials request to visit North Korea counterparts and how often they don't get a response. China's foreign ministry didn't immediately respond to faxed questions. Wu, special representative for Korean Peninsula affairs, met last week with his South Korean counterpart in Seoul to discuss North Korea's advancing nuclear and missile programs. He had planned to go to Pyongyang afterward, but North Korea didn't answer his request. Yonhap News reported, citing an unidentified diplomatic source in Seoul. Wang, China's foreign minister, had urged the U.S. and North Korea to dial down tensions last week, comparing the situation to a storm that's about to break. China wants both sides to resume negotiations over North Korea's nuclear program that collapsed in 2009. High-level dialogues between North Korea and China was cut back after the 2013 execution of Kim's uncle, Jang Song-Phuag, who was an advocate for Chinese-style economic reform and had been the major go-to person for leaders in Beijing. Yang's wife had raised Kim Jong-nam, the half-brother of Kim Jong-un, who was murdered with a chemical agent earlier this year at an airport in Malaysia. He had been living under Chinese protection. China in February banned coal imports from North Korea after the murder, leading to a rare public spat after Pyongyang accused Beijing of dancing to the tune of the United States last week. The Global Times, a Communist Party-affiliated newspaper, argued that Beijing should support stiffer sanctions.
Let's start on Russia's view
and stop her. Back to the article. Argued that Beijing should support stiffer sanctions against North Korea, including the limit of oil exports if the country conducts another nuclear test. Trump said on Sunday that he refrained from labeling China a currency manipulator in part because the country's help in dealing with North Korea. During a visit to South Korea, Vice President Mike Pence said on Monday that he was heartened by recent moves from China on North Korea and urged more action a day after Kim conducted a ballistic missile test. Trump acknowledged the difficulty China faces with North Korea after meeting Xi, telling the Wall Street Journal last week, "After listening for 10 minutes, I realized it's not so easy." Last week, he told the reporters that he thought Xi means well, and I think he wants to help. No one from China appeared at a military parade in Pyongyang to mark the 105th birth anniversary of Kim's grandfather, the nation's founder, last weekend. And they've got some pictures here. It says Kim Jong-un's overseas military parade. It says, in addition to government interaction, officials from the ruling parties of China and North Korea have regularly met in the past. The last senior Chinese official to visit Pyongyang was Liu Yunshun, a member of the China's Politburo Standing Committee, who attended a Workers' Party celebration in North Korea in October of 2015. And there's a video that you can watch here called "Rhodes Says China Could Squeeze North Korea Economically." And that's William Rhodes, the Global Advisor CEO, it says. The next article that I have for you is off of Liberty Headlines, and it says North Korea missile test failure may have been caused by the U.S. You think? The latest nuclear test missile exploded 5 seconds after launch yesterday because of an American cyber attack, experts believe. They say U.S. agents may have infected the high-tech electronics in tyrant Kim Jong-un's rocket with an undetectable virus that caused massive malfunction. North Korea fired the missile in defiance of President Trump sending a naval task force to the region. Tyrant Kim Jong-un ordered the provocative launch from near the port city of Sinpo yesterday. It exploded 45 seconds after takeoff, humiliating the North Korean despot in the eyes of the world. Experts later said it was possible the medium-range ballistic rocket thought to be Nodong was brought down by U.S. cyber attack. North Korea is forced to import the high-tech electronics used in its missiles. U.S. agents are believed to have infiltrated the supply chain and may have planted undetectable malware viruses inside Kim's missiles. As soon as a launch was detected, a signal could have been delivered to the infected component by a satellite from the U.S. National Security Agency headquarters in Maryland. Defense analyst Paul Bieber said it is perfectly feasible the U.S. brought down the missile. Their cyber warfare capabilities are now highly advanced. The next article is off of defense1.com, and it says U.S. Army exploring devastating new weapon for use in war with Russia. The kinetic energy projectile would be a tungsten warhead that moves at 3 times the speed of sound, destroying anything in its path. Were the United States to go to war with Russia, both sides could draw on deadly weapons that the world has never seen on a battlefield. On the Russian side, there are new and smaller tactical nuclear weapons. To counter them, the U.S. Army is taking another look at devastating weapon, one first tested by the Air Force and Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory in 2013, the kinetic energy projectile, or the KEP, a tungsten-based charge moving at 3 times the speed of sound that can destroy anything in its path. Think of it as a shotgun shell, Major General William Hicks, the Army Director of Strategy, Plans and Policy, said a few weeks ago at the Bose Allen Hamilton Direct Energy Summit. But unlike a shotgun shell, Hicks said, the KEP moves at an incredible speed of Mach 3 to Mach 6. Randy Simpson, a weapons program manager at Lawrence Livermore National Lab, explains that kinetic energy projectiles are warheads that take advantage of high terminal speeds to deliver much more energy onto a target than the chemical explosive they carry could deliver alone. Hicks said the way that the Lawrence Livermore have designed it is quite devastating. I would not want to be around it. Try that again. I would not want to be around it. Not much can survive it. If you are in a main battle tank, if you're a crew member, you might survive, but the vehicle will not. Try that again. The vehicle will be non-mission capable, and everything below that level, everything below that will ever the protection will be dead. That's what I'm talking about, he says. The general emphasized that the explosion was a conceptual phase and not yet any sort of actual program. We're looking at ways we might use that capability in one of our existing launch platforms as part of the weapons suite that we have. He said the main contender for a launcher would be the Army Tactical Missile System made by Lockheed Martin. In October of 2013, an Air Force test team strapped the projectile to a sled on a high-speed test track at Holman Air Force Base in New Mexico. The goal to get it moving faster than Mach 3 and see how it might actually work in the air. The test showed that the warhead design worked. It also provided data to help simulations and modeling. Why would the U.S. military, which has put untold billions of dollars into precision weapons over several decades, need such a blunt and terrifying weapon to counter small Russian nuclear weapons? The Russians maintain their tactical nuclear stockpile in ways that we have not, he said. Potomac Institute head Philip Carber, who helped write the Pentagon's Russians' New Generation Warfare study, offered a bit more explanation when Defense One spoke to him in January. While the United States retains just a few of its own large arsenals of tactical nukes, Carber estimates that Russia recently has anywhere from 2,000 to 5,000 of the weapons. Look at what the Russians have been doing in low fission, light fission, or high fission, sub-kiloton tactical nuclear technology. Said it appears that they are putting a big effort in both miniaturizing the warheads and using sub-kiloton low-yield warheads. Why is that significant? By shrinking the warhead, you can shoot it out of a wider variety of guns, including potentially a 152 millimeter tank cannon. They've announced that the follow-on tank to the Armada will have a 152 millimeter gun missile launcher. They're talking about it having a nuclear capability, and you're talking about building a nuclear tank, a tank that fires a nuke? Well, that's the implication, said Carber. Hicks says that the use of tactical battlefield nuclear weapons, even very low-level ones, is not part of official Russian military doctrine, but it is a capability that they are increasing, eager to show off and discuss to intimidate neighbors and adversaries. They certainly exercise the use of those weapons in many of their exercises, including the one that participated in the parking of 3,000 to 4,000 soldiers on the Ukrainian border right before the 2014 invasion of Crimea. That coercive intimidation is part of their design, he said. And while even Soviet generals may have shielded away or shied away from using tactical nukes, Blick said Putin's military is a lot more inclined philosophically to see the utility of them. And that's all I have for you in this episode, but I've got a couple more episodes to follow. If you like what I'm doing here, give it a thumbs up so everybody gets to hear the news. And don't forget to subscribe, and that way you'll stay informed. I'll see you in the next one.